welcome everybody to the second Panel Fit monthly chat. You will find the podcast of this chat on the main platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, and on YouTube. And there you will find also the previous episode, the one with Íñigo de Miguel about digital pills. So please, can you mute your microphone? Thank you. Okay, then we will share all the links on our social media and on our website.
Mails fra Hanny, hvis I stiller over.
Yeah. Okay. Today we have Lorena Perez Campillo, who is a PhD researcher on data protection, on health and ICT at the Public Law Department of the University of the Basque Country. She's a lecturer and lawyer and consultant on privacy issues. So welcome, Lorena. We will talk about cloud computing and blockchain.
And data protection.
Yes, and data protection in the field of healthcare mainly, and then some more general issues about innovation and technology in healthcare. So let's start right away with the first question. So Lorena, we hear a lot about the cloud, but exactly what is it? And another question, what is it applicability in the health sector?
Hi, Federico. In the future, the best hospitals will be on the internet, and genetic information will be in the cloud. Patients or users will have more access to their personal medical information than they do now. 5G technology will make it possible to download large volumes of important data, analysis, healthcare data, or robotics, allow remote surgery, quality teleconsultations, etc. And this will inevitably require cloud computing. In short, cloud computing is a technology that offers networked information service. In other words, cloud computing provides computing resource on demand through the internet. These are services according to the needs of users, paid or free. It is applicable not only to the healthcare sector, but also to the digital insurance industry, rich farm, etc. Therefore, cloud computing is used by hospitals, research centers, clinics, mobile health application companies, and public health administration, for example.
Okay, but what are the costs for patients in terms of cybersecurity and informed consent?
The impact of technological progress is clear. The greater the flow of personal information, the greater the impact on people's rights. Specifically, I am referring to the right to data protection and privacy of patients in hospitals, mobile health application, Google, etc.
Yeah. Okay. And examples of cloud computer service providers and steps about a personal data this way.
There are different types of cloud computing service according to the type of service, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. For example, with SaaS.
Sorry. Can you explicit what is what does this mean? The SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS? Because maybe
sorry.
I don't know what they stand for. So maybe it's clear.
SaaS, software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. For example, with SaaS, it is quite easy to lose sight of the privacy terms of the contract because it is sometimes free of charge. It is very important compared to the rest because according to an ADC Media study, SaaS will account for approximately 60% of cloud spending by 2020. An example of SaaS is Gmail or Windows Azure. They are also classified in the public cloud, the private cloud, and the hybrid cloud. The public cloud is the one with the most problem due to its nature. It is in Europe where cloud consumers have the greatest data control problems. In the private cloud, by paying the cost, the customer has greater negotiation power.
Okay, but what legal persons or subject can exist? Right now, I'm thinking of a hospital where doctors use cloud computing to store patients' data. But cloud is also used by researchers to store personal health information of individuals, for example.
It's not usually easy to identify legal subjects in the cloud. Why? Because outsourcing to cloud providers can be frequent. This means that following the traceability of personal data will be more difficult. The legal subject in the field of data protection could be cloud consumer as data controllers, for example, and hospital, cloud providers as data processor, for example, Microsoft Cloud, and data subject with specific rights, for example, patients.
Okay, and let's talk about data protection regulations applicable to cloud computing.
Well, what legal framework can we talk about? First, how long GDPR and member state regulation. Secondly, sub-law opinion, letters of the Article 29 Working Party, European Data Protection Supervisor or auto-regulation in form of certification, European Privacy Seal, etc. The Article 29 Working Party, prior to the ERPD, established issues that will be reflected in this new European legislation, such as rights to access cancellation, security measures, parties and contractual time, return on or destruction of data, etc.
Okay, so it's a very, very wide field of application. So it's, I guess it's very complicated to translate all this in legal terms. So are there companies that prefer foreign cloud providers outside the EU when it comes to contracting cloud services? And would it be ethical to choose the geolocation of the data center in order to avoid severe legislation such as European legislation?
Yes, this way you don't have to comply with the demanding GDPR. The provider might decide the location of the data center. For example, in one-on-one company, you can choose in Spain, Germany, or the USA. There are also offshore cloud providers that offer cloud services to consumers who have sensitive information and are flying USA legislation. In the legal field, physical locations means jurisdiction. So it is often recommended that providers be consulted on their jurisdiction and regulatory framework for data protection. In truth, the reality is that providers do not offer information on the geolocations of their data center. And what is more serious, there are providers who even offer discounts if the provider is allowed to choose at any time where to reside the cloud contracted service. It must be borne in mind that international transfer take place as a condition sine qua non. This means that the cloud client, whether a hospital or patient or user of an application, automatically become responsible for the treatment. For this reason, it is important to know the geolocation of the data center. It's very important.
Yeah. So it's kind of a tricky issue, the geolocation of data and the legal framework that applies. So let's switch. Maybe since our time is limited and we have another big issue to talk about, which is blockchain. I will start with a very simple question for a very complicated topic. So what is a blockchain?
Well, it is a record of transactions to be shared between participants. Blockchain uses encryption to validate information and prevent it from being modified. It provides transparency, traceability, and interoperability. Users are enabled or authorized according to a set of standards. Data must be stored chronologically, correlatively, forming linked or cascading transactions. It can be said that it is a protocol, not a technology.
Okay, so it's a silly question that comes to my mind is, so blockchain has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies.
Well, blockchain is the technology behind Bitcoin and can be separated from it to do other things with it. For example, it is used to create other cryptocurrencies based on the same principles. For example, in health blockchain, users or patients can be rewarded for renting their personal data.
Okay. This is an interesting application of blockchain. So what benefit can blockchain give to the field of health?
Interesting. For example, blockchain sanitary will allow share medical data for research and development of new drugs, manage consents in clinical trials, make micropayments, provide data security, avoid fraud in health insurance or counterfeit medicines, for example.
Okay, so another question similar to the previous, but maybe a bit more into reality. So can you give us some examples of the use of blockchain in healthcare, some real examples?
Well, for example, I think of two real cases. First, Boehringer and IBM. They are also intended to make it easier for study participants to claim ownership of their data and to revoke or reauthorize their consent if necessary. IBM will provide the technology to track patients' consents and commitment, as well as to ensure the exchange of health data with other partners. Secondly, the hospital of Taiwan, the project includes more than 100 clinics Individuals have access to medical records, high-resolution medical images, laboratory results, clinical and health dissemination information. Hospital and clinics can request authorities and share patients' record through a smart contract.
Okay. And what about Europe? Are there real cases we can talk about?
We can talk about My Health, My Data project. It is an open biomedical information network centered on the connection between organizations and individuals, encouraging hospitals to start making anonymized data available for open research, with prompting citizens to become the ultimate owners and controllers of their health data. It is intended to become a true information marketplace based on new mechanisms of truth and direct value-based relationship between European citizens, hospitals, research centers, and business. And we can also talk about Medical Chain. It is a UK-based health technology company developing an open health data platform, with working closely with health provider organizations to address the challenges of data availability and interoperability. Anyway, there are many more. If you're interested in it, you can write to me, and I will give you information.
Yeah, it will be very interesting, and your availability to answer to question is, of course, addressed also to our audience. Lately, we'll share your email address once we publish the podcast online, so that people can contact you if they want more information about this subject. So thank you for this. And let's go a bit deeper on blockchain. So how is a health blockchain?
Well, it is an ecosystem formed by different nodes of participants. Hospital or healthcare centers, health insurers, pharmaceutical companies, for example, Pfizer or Boehringer, technological companies, for example, IBM, Siemens, Philips, health or these farm patients or consumers, and patient associations, for example.
Okay, so many subjects. So the technology is like encompasses all this framework, which is I think I can guess it's very once more complicated to manage from a legal point of view and from a cybersecurity point of view, of course. So what about this legal framework? What are the incompatibilities of this technology or of this protocol, as you said, with the GDPR? Where are the problems?
Well, what are the problems? It is difficult to exercise the right to cancel or right to forget, and the rights of rectification. It is difficult to determine who is responsible for processing, or it is difficult to exercise the rights of portability, and the principle of data minimization is difficult to comply with.
So actually, you mentioned almost all the main points of GDPR. So it's, I mean, a lot of articles are hide behind your words, behind these principles. So I guess it's quite complicated.
Yeah.
So, and instead, the other side of the coin, what are the advantages of blockchain?
Yeah. What are the advantages of blockchain? Well, first, blockchain can even be a GDPR compliance tool. Secondly, blockchain is an interesting reward mechanism for empowering individuals. Very important. And finally, technical, technological, and ethical solutions will be sought to comply with the regulations.
Okay. So before saying goodbye, since we are almost running out of time, two last questions, more general. First is, what you think the hospitals of the future will look like?
Some patients and users and citizens will have mobile app from public and private hospitals, and they will be able to access by blockchain often or not to share their personal health data with insurers, pharmacists, and they will be able to opt to collaborate in research on clinical trial. It's very important.
Yeah, so hopefully blockchain can become a tool to empower the patients actually on the control of his or her personal data. And okay, last question. What bibliography can you recommend us on health blockchain?
Well, I think this document's interesting. Of CENIL, French Supervisory Authority, blockchain and the GDPR solution for a responsible use. Other document, maybe European Parliament, European Parliament. The name is Blockchain and the General Data Protection Regulation. And maybe other documents of the author Michel Fick, blockchain. The name is Blockchains and Data Protection in the European Union. Yeah. Basta.
Okay, then maybe we will share your proposals, and if you have more, once we publish the podcast online, we will give all the links and titles and stuff. So okay, thank you very much, Lorena.
Thank you
for this chat.
Federico.
We will, as I said, we will publish the podcast and the video, and we will put there your email address, so that if someone has questions or wants more information about cloud technology or blockchain and data protection, they can contact you. And yeah, that's it for this monthly chat. We'll meet again in 1 month with another expert. So thank you very much for being here today. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for